YouTube, I'm Arwen, the professional joy seeker, and also professional tarot consultant, and kind of a Barbara Walters wannabe here on YouTube. And what I do is I have been asking everybody, I mean, if you've got a YouTube channel and you've got 10 videos out, honey, I want to talk to you. And the reason I do is because it helps me learn people's channels, who they are, and why they are. And I'm really curious about that. So I want to welcome to my channel Holly from Cape Cod Creatures. And we were just chatting before I started the broadcast because her background is super familiar to me. And I asked her if she had because I used to do a certain job, and I asked her if she did this job, and she does a variation of it. And I was like, It was the background that told me. And I realized I'm a lot more visual than I realized. But Holly, welcome to Tarot by Arwen, ArwenTalks, whatever the hell my channel is called. Tell me a little bit about Cape Cod Creatures and who you are and why you are.
Sure. Thank you, Arwen, for welcoming me onto your channel. I'm a little nervous. This is like the first time I've ever been invited to another channel. But Cape Cod Creatures originally started as a way for me to document my costuming. I make fursuit heads, which sounds kind of strange, and I guess it is, but I wanted to be a werewolf one year and couldn't find a mask I liked. So, but anyway, the channel started as a way for me to kind of document that. And then I started getting into tarot and back into spirituality. And I thought, well, 48 channels is stupid, so I'll just do it all in one place. But yeah, that's kind of, I just use it to talk a lot and, you know, blow up my ego if we're quite honest. But yeah.
That sounds familiar. And y'all should know that Holly and I also discovered that we're, well, she already knew. I didn't know this or didn't remember it, but we're both Pisces. I just said, I'm like, yeah. I did that on my Facebook. I was like, I should have a Facebook for family, for school, for business, for pagans. Fuck it. Everybody play nice. You know?
Yeah, in theory, 48 Facebooks is nice, but I mean, that's way too much Facebook in any one person's life.
Yeah, and I basically said, and periodically say, okay, y'all, everybody is here. Everybody. That's why I have so many freaking friends on my Facebook page. And some of you are Christian, some of you are not. Some of you are liberal, some of you are way not. Play nice. And generally speaking, people are pretty good. This political season, you know, a couple of us got out of hand. And I had to rein us back in because it really was me posting some pretty inflammatory shit. So
play nice. Here's all this ammo, but play nice. You like to sew dragon.
Right? Here's some wood. You can have some gasoline. I'm going to give you matches. Y'all have fun. So
it's a good time.
Right? And because I'm a Pisces, I go back and forth. Some days I'm like, y'all stop that. That's awful. And sometimes I'm like, eh. So, and I've got a lot of my chart. Y'all heard my rant on you're not just your sun sign. Well, a lot of my chart plays into that kind of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Holly, I want to ask you, what's the very first thing you can remember about witches in general? Just the word witch on a base level.
The very first thing I can remember was a really crappy Halloween costume. I don't know, anybody who grew up in the 80s and 90s remembers it's like just basically a vinyl suit and a mask. And that was one of my very first costumes. But yeah, I don't know, I've just always kind of been interested in the different and the strange and the odd. So I was just a really weird kid, if we're quite honest. So, I mean, you've got that. I mean, it's tons of pop culture references I could probably bring up, but that's my very first memory of being like, well, why is this mask got a big wart on it and a hat and I don't get it. But that's the earliest I can remember. And then of course it evolved from there.
Well, how did it evolve? How did you go from a warty mask to a working path?
Well, okay, so to be honest, I'm not that deep into the woo. I know a lot of people are just like, yay, woo! And I'm like, well, maybe woo. But, so, I mean, early as a kid, I've always had what I called my bullshit detector. And my mom would take me to church sometimes. My grandparents were Roman Catholic. And yeah, I always like would sit in there and be like, no, this is stupid. Like, this is, nope. And I would always get in trouble in church. And yeah, and my mom never baptized me or anything. She said, the greatest gift I can give you is the choice of choosing your own path. And she was always right from there. So good on her, like, woo, rock on, mom.
Yeah.
But I know she's a cool lady. But yeah, I don't know. I was an atheist for a really long time. And then The Craft came out in the mid late 90s. And I was just old enough to be an angsty teen right about then. So bring on the black lipstick and the chanting and the incense in my room and like melting candle wax and just pissing off my parents. And then after that, it was like right back to atheism. And I don't know, but I've always just felt like there's got to be something more, like a little bit deeper. Like there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. So I'm just exploring it now. So anybody who tells you you can't do something new or explore something new in your late 30s or mid 30s, here I am doing it. So I don't really have a path yet. I'm still finding it.
Well, I think that's very cool. And I love the idea of the angsty teen and the craft. I was in a poly relationship back in 2000, and there was a teen that lived with us. And when she hit 15, 16, and she was super artsy. She's now our mom and does her yoga thing. She's a really cool woman. But at that point, her mom, her stepdad, and myself were sitting at the breakfast table, and she comes stomping in, and she's a Pisces like us. She was furious, just furious. And we're all like, okay. And I'm just going to call her V because that's a version of her name. I was like, what's up? She said, I can't rebel unless I become a nun. And then she just whips around and leaves.
She is officially my new favorite person.
Oh my God. And she's so stinking smart that she would say stuff like that. And she was really mad at this point. She had really had a conversation with herself and really gone in depth about, how to be a rebellious teen. She went to a magnet school. So she was around really smart kids and kids that thought way outside of the box. I mean, there wasn't even a box nearby. So when we did this, we were all like, and her mom, who was a little shithead, went, you could be a Republican too. Slam! So, aww. I know, poor baby. Now, you've talked a little bit about divination, and I know from your channel, I'm kind of guessing what your favorite form of divination is, but what is Holly's favorite form of divination?
So far, tarot cards. I love tarot and I love oracle. It's like there's so much artwork and so many choices and so many different ways to read and so many different, like there's just layers upon layers. It's like cutting open an onion. Like it's going to make you cry.
Now, have you delved into Lenormand at all? Or are you still on oracles and tarot?
Lenormand I've just started to look into. I got C.L.O. Thompson's Scrying Ink Lenormand, and the artwork is beautiful. So I've started to look into how to read it. And I think some of the methods are really cool, and I've actually started to apply them to tarot card meetings. But that is I've decided that I'm going to wait until I'm proficient enough in tarot to open that can of worms, just because I want to make sure I've got one thing down before I start another. I am a chronic project starter stopper.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you have no idea.
None. I'm going to blame that on the Geminis, all of them. But yeah, definitely. Have you ever done a spell? Have you ever tried spell work or had something that just backfired? I know you said you're kind of not as much into the woo, so this may not be an appropriate question.
Well, when I was angsty teen, I was forever like, I'm going to bind this bullying teacher and I'm going to do this and I want $1 bajillion. And that never really worked out clearly. But I mean, otherwise I'd be sitting on a yacht and we'd be having a very different conversation. But no, I don't think I've ever had anything really backfire. think I've never really, up until now, approached anything with clear and positive intentions. And so, like I said, we're just learning the way right now, but nothing backfired so far, and I haven't really been very bitchy about anything. So hopefully, nothing will backfire yet. So,
well, good. Now, I'm assuming from Cape Cod that you're up on the East Coast.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm on the part of Cape Cod that's shaped like that. Like this is, I'm right here.
Oh. So, okay. Yep. That's like people from Michigan go, okay, I'm not here, I'm over here. God, a UP, yeah. It's like when you have to do hand signs. Well, I'm from Louisiana, so I used to pick my foot up and point to things. So
there you go.
So because you're from New England, I'm not going to ask you the enchilada sauce question. Instead, I'm going to ask you.
The answer is both, by the way, to that one.
Oh, you're a Christmas girl.
Depending on the protein.
Well, let's ask Manhattan or New England clam chowder.
New England all the way.
Right.
What is this watery tomato broth bullshit? Get that out of my tongue.
Oh, right. If it's going to be watery tomato shit, add beer to it and make it cold. Thanks.
Right. If you at that point put vodka in it and make it a Bloody Mary, like.
yeah, I'm right there with you, sister. Because man, and I actually like Progresso clam chowder because it's really thick, so it works for me. But that's my favorite. Now I'm hungry again. Note that we talked about me being hungry right before this started.
If it ever makes it down your way, one of the restaurants around here won Chowder Fest for like a bajillion years in a row. It's called Captain Parker's Clam Chowder, and they're just starting to distribute commercially. So if you see it in the store, grab it. It's delicious. And
I will. Now, I have had a good New England clam chowder on the West Coast in Seattle, right at the ferry, at the Mukilteo Ferry. It's called Ivar's.
Ooh.
They've got a pretty good chowder. You can see you get clam. Say it again?
They've got the gooey duck clams too. Those are the big ginormous, the clams with the big ginormous necks. So they're going to have some good stuff over there.
Those kind of scare me. I must admit, they just kind of scare me because, I go there every time I look at them.
They scare everyone. But when they're chopped up and in a chowder, you don't know.
See, I may have eaten them and not known it.
Probably. Right. West Coast chowder, yeah.
Yeah, I have a politically incorrect name for them that starts with C and ends with penis. Told you it was bad. Okay. Bad, Arwen. Holly, is there an afterlife in how you look at the world and in your belief system? And I know you said atheist was a big part of your life. So is it a big deal for you for an afterlife?
Okay, I'm like, this is where I'm like kind of a hypocritical on the fence person where this is concerned. I have a very nihilistic and atheistic view of the universe, so I'm just like, back to the void. But also maybe ghosts. So I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend like I do know, because I feel like people who do say that they know definitively or pretend that they know, they're just big fat liar, pants on fire people, because we don't know, and we're not going to know until we die. So why waste time and speculate? But in the meantime, maybe ghosts. I don't know.
I want you to start every video from here on out with "Back to the void."
Back to the void.
Or end it. I just think that'd be a great way to, I want to watch that girl with the pink hair that tells me to go to Back to the Void all the time. Yeah. Now, we're going to talk about deserted islands.
Okay, I love dessert.
No. Deserted. Empty. Damn it. Don't talk about food. As Arwen rips her headphones off and leaves. Holly, you just take it from here. Because I actually have some really good Thai soup in my refrigerator that I picked up yesterday. And that's what I was going to have for lunch today, but then lunch just went whoop. So on the deserted island, you have been told you can have 3 of your magical items or 3 of your working tools. These don't have to be survival tools. These are more witchy woo-woo pagan tools. What do you pick?
Okay, so first I would pick my bird tarot card. I've got a cute little deck of tarot cards. It's basically Rider-Waite, but with cockatiels and parakeets instead of people, and it's hilarious. And I love
Is that Beth? Is that Beth Saloan?
Nope, it's Nora-san. I imported it from Japan.
Okay.
And then let's see, a quartz crystal, because it's basically the go-to for everything. And I'm gonna be a big cheater pumpkin eater right here. I'm gonna say my cell phone because of all the tarot apps, and then I can call for a boat.
Oh, she is a big old cheater, but that's okay. You can take your cell phone. There's no service.
Okay. That's fine. I've got everything else I need there anyway. Just stick me up, make sure the island's in the middle of the salt water, and I'll be fine.
Right. Just give me a nice place.
Exactly. Is there a hammock? I'm good.
Now, what do you do for self-care? What is, a taking care of Holly routine?
I guess that would differ day to day, but I've been trying to incorporate more meditation into my routines. Just because as a Piscean, we tend to be a little emotional, and my go-to emotion is anger. It's just, I calls it like I sees it, Arwen. But I've been trying to meditate a little bit more. And I don't know, just a lot of quiet me time. I'm very introverted, which makes retail a horrible career choice. But yeah, I would say more meditation, and it's summertime, so grilling and going to the beach.
Oh, nice.
That's some good self-care for me.
Now, meditation is huge for me, and I really wish I used to try to meditate. And there are actually I've just recently learned there's different kinds of meditation. Some work for some people, some don't for other people. And apparently the ones I was trying were the ones that didn't work for my type of brain. They say your brain activity, it differs. And so some meditations make the front brain waves go faster and the back ones go slower. And so if you're a fast front and a slow back, that's just bad because it doesn't calm you down. It just makes you go faster. So it was it was a workshop I did with my husband here recently. But I use the Calm app, and I'm actually using the sleep stories more than I actually use the meditation right now. Because they just make me go.
What's that called? I'm going to write it down, actually. The Calm app?
It's called Calm, CALM, and the icon is cursor Calm in white on blue background. Awesome. It is a purchase. There's an in-app purchase thing, but you can do like I think a week trial or something. But my husband, who doesn't buy shit, he does not. It has to mean really, really important to him. He actually subscribed to it as well. So
did we marry the same person, Arwen? Because mine doesn't buy shit either. Like nothing.
Is yours a Libra?
It's Taurus.
Okay. Yeah, no, Taurus. But see, he doesn't buy because he has to be convinced. Taurus doesn't buy because if it doesn't hold value, why bother?
Oh no, he needs to be convinced. he's probably got Leo in there somewhere.
Right? Go check and see where his Libra's at. Now, what's something that always brings you joy?
This is gonna sound kind of hokey, but my dogs. And I've got a zoo at home. The birds give me mixed feelings because they're very hard, difficult pets to have. But there's nothing better than opening the door at the end of the day to your house and having your dog just being like, "I'm so happy to see you! Oh my God, you're the best person in the whole entire universe!"
Right? What do you have?
I've got 2 Great Danes.
Oh, colors?
One's a Merlequin, so she's like a Harlequin, but instead of her spots being black, they're gray. And the other one wears a tuxedo, and he's ready to take me to prom at a moment's notice.
Now, is the Merlequin, is she really tall? Because all the Harlequins I ever met were just incredibly tall. Somebody told me they're the tallest of the color variations. I don't know if that's true.
They can be. Right now, the tallest one is actually a blue. But I like my Danes smaller because they live longer when they're smaller. So she's tall and thin compared to my boy, but she's short compared to most Danes. She can still steal a sandwich off the counter, though.
Now, you said birds. I used to do bird rescue. I used to live with over 250 birds.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so we bred cockatiels, we bred budgies, and then we rescued a bunch of them. We had from we had cockatoos from the big ones to the little ones. We had just a ton of birds. What do you got?
I have a 20, he's almost going to be 23. I have a 23-year-old cockatiel. He's been hanging with me since the 6th grade. And then I've got a Moluccan I think it's called Moluccan. I call her Moluccan.
Yep. Yeah, Moluccan.
That's Henrietta, Mrs. Celery Pinfeather. And then I've got a citron I just adopted.
Oh.
But yeah, we're having a rough time with him. He actually might wind up going back to the rescue just because he's not bonding with anybody in the house at all. So I don't want him to live his life in fear. I don't want him to live his life. I don't want him to, sorry, there was somebody knocking on the door. I don't want him to live his life in fear, and it's been 7 months and he's not bonding. So he might go back to the rescue. We're on the fence about it, but.
Moluccans could be, well, the citrons I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a friend, I think she had a citron. I'll ask her because, you know, cockatoos can have such varying personalities.
Oh, yeah.
But we had a Moluccan named Maurice. And Maurice got the cops called on us.
He did?
I wasn't there, but my partner, this is when I was in the poly relationship, my partner at the time said he had a knock on the door and he opened it and there was a uniformed officer, 2 of them.
Oh my God.
And they said, "We've had a report from neighbors of a child in distress."
No, Maurice, no.
And Mike said, "Really?" Because the youngest kid we had at the time was, I think he was about 14, and he was developmentally disabled, so he had some issues, but screaming wasn't one of them. Yeah. He had Prader-Willi syndrome, which is an eating disorder, genetic thing. So we knew it wasn't him, and they said, "We need to come in," and Mike's like, "Come on." And he said, "What are they hearing?" They said, "They're hearing somebody yell. They're hearing a child yell help." And Mike went, "Follow me." And the cops, of course, looked at him like, "Oh my God." But he walks into we had the cockatoos in their own room because the grays, we had African grays and they can't be around the dander.
They're ornery, yeah. And plus they're ornery.
Oh, our grays were. They were. But so he opens up the cockatoo room, and we had at that time Gray, Polly, and I think we only had three of them at that time. And they're all, they all have huge cages if they were in them. But Maurice whips that, because he loved people. Man, he was a people bird. He whips his crest up and says, "Hi, hello, hi, hello, help, help."
No!
Oh my God. And the cops are backing up because what y'all need to know is that in the bird world, the Moluccan cockatoo has a reputation well earned as being the fucking loudest bird in the world.
Yep, ours we call Mrs. Screambeak because she's just so loud.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you want to put plugs in your ears when you're around them. And Maurice was a very sweet bird, but he's also mischievous, and he knew that sneaking up behind somebody on the couch when you just weren't paying attention, because we had birds everywhere, and he'd sneak up on the couch and sit by you and go, "Help."
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so they're very interesting birds. I'll have to ask my friend Sue if hers was a citron. I think he's a lesser sulfur. I may be wrong. Same
difference. Citrons are the same size as lesser sulfurs, just instead of a yellow crest, they have orange.
Yeah, they're beautiful birds. I'm sorry, y'all. I could talk about birds all flipping day long because I really miss them. I don't have birds anymore. As I moved, I had to start rehoming everybody, and it broke my heart. My baby was a double-fronted blue Amazon that I had to. I found him a great home. There was another blue front. He was in an office where he got to see lots of people, and he liked interaction. So, but I miss him. I know. So tell me what your favorite meal is. What is Holly's go-to when when you can treat yourself to the very thing you want?
I guess that depends on the day. But if I was going to say, if I could just treat yourself, if it was October 13th, I would have to say lobster. I'm a fisherman's daughter. And all the stuff that we grew up very poor. in originally Rhode Island, and then we moved to Cape Cod. But it was basically like what the food stamps got us plus what my dad brought home on the boat. So, but like we were eating like kings. One time we had, and I shit you not, he brought home like half of a swordfish, and we had so much swordfish that my mom was making tuna fish salad out of it. And like,
oh my gosh.
I like when you're little, you have no idea, but like think of it like today, that is so opulent, that is so ridiculously opulent to have a mayonnaise salad made with swordfish. But
right?
yeah, it's crazy. But yes, but like that's my comfort food. Like that's my like, oh, I'm sad, I just want a lobster right now.
Well, where new, and I asked for a reason because my grandmother lived in she lived in Warwick, and my cousins lived in North Warwick.
Mm-hmm. So in Rhode Island, I grew up in Narragansett, but there are two different parts to Narragansett. There's like nice mansiony Narragansett, and then there is Narragansett bordering Point Judith, which is the fishing town, and that's where we lived, and that's way less mansiony. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. No, Rhode Island is the first place my aunt drove us to the docks, to the boats, I guess. And she said, I'm going to go get dinner. And I was 16. Maybe was I 14? 14. First time I've ever been there, right? And everybody talks really weird because I'm from Louisiana. So,
yeah.
So but she walks up to the edge of the boat and has this conversation with this dude standing way up on this. I remember it was a big white boat with like blue rails. That's all I can remember. Yep. And he says something, and she has a ice chest, which she gets put up and brings back down and comes home. And then she puts the ugliest fish I think I've ever seen in my life in the oven. And I'm thinking, I am not eating that crap. No. And she brings it out and insists, of course, she's my aunt. So she says, you must take a bite. It was heaven.
Oh, yeah.
It was bluefish.
Oh, those are great.
But they're ugly, right?
Oh, they're the ugliest. The best way, bluefish, you have to get like right out of the ocean because we're super spoiled. You can surf cast for those here. So if you're on Cape Cod, you can go to the National Seashore and surf cast for bluefish, and you just bring your hibachi, you fillet it right there, and you cook it on the beach. And it is like the tastiest thing on the face of the planet.
Yeah, I mean, all I think she put on there was butter and lemon. Maybe salt and pepper, but truly, I can still remember how amazing that fish was. Now, people who are watching this are going to be like, "You bitches are making us hungry." So, now, are you a moon baby or a sun baby? Which is your element? Or your moon sun? I guess that's not an element.
Well, I mean, I love the sun, but I am a human lobster. I will burn to a crisp. So I would say, but like I'm crepuscular. I am most active at dusk. So
makes sense.
A little bit of sun, a little bit of moon, best of both worlds, and then the rest.
I like it.
Yeah.
I tell people I'm Gidget's best friend. If you've ever watched the really old Gidget movies, one of the girls wears this huge hat, and she'd wear muumuus.
Oh my
when she went to the beach. And I'm like, that's me. I love the water, but the sun and I have three colors: white, red, and that lovely in between peel. So yeah. Okay, so let's see. Who's the first YouTuber you can remember watching in the woo woo group?
Ooh, in the woo woo group. That would either be because I think I just spent a day, it was slow at the shop, so I spent a day binging videos. So it's got to be a tie between you, Ethany, Wild Moon, Elise from Wild Moon Woman, and Kelly from The Truth and Story.
Wow, what a great group to be part of. I love those channels.
Yeah, they're great channels, and I got no work done that day.
Don't blame us.
Well, it's got to go somewhere. I'm not going to take it. So
right. So tell me a ghost story. You just one ghost story if you've got one.
I don't have any ghost stories. Unfortunately, my life has not been blessed enough to have had those kinds of interactions. And I'm pretty sure anytime like a Ouija board happened in my life, my sisters were being jerks and moving it. So I did go on a ghost hunt though. Barnstable has a really was it Barnstable, the Barnstable House or Barnstable Inn. It's on 6A, and a friend of mine, her father works there as a lawyer, and like the ghost, the basically Cape Cod version of Ghost Hunters were there, and I got invited to go with my friend, and we got to go on like a ghost hunt basically. So we did EVP sessions, we waited for video evidence, and if we're quite honest, Devin and I may have had a few cocktails and didn't take it quite seriously, but it was still it was still pretty cool to be a part of. And as far as I know, there was a few like tidbits of EVP, but nothing really like super awesome came about from that investigation. But that's the closest I have to a ghost story.
Very cool. I am a Taps. I used to watch Taps all the freaking time. So I don't do a lot of reality shows, but Taps is one, and the one I'm hooked on now, I can't even give voice to because it's so cheesy.
Is it? I love the cheesy ones. No, you have to tell me now. You have to tell me now. I live for cheese.
Alaskan bush people.
Alaskan bush people? Oh, I am all over that, like paint on a house.
Man, we love it. We're waiting for new episodes. It's really sad. So now here's the last question. I know we've kind of rambled and gone off on other things, which is what I like. What's your best advice to somebody who is just starting out on their path? Or what would you want somebody to have told you when you very first began dipping your toe in the water?
You can do what you want and you don't need a reason. I think it's probably the best advice I can give somebody. Because I don't know, like especially for people kind of like me who are kind of like, well, maybe not. Just take the bits and pieces of the things that appeal to you and then leave the rest behind. You don't need it. If you don't feel like you need it, you don't need it. And if you feel like you do, you do. And just kind of you do you. That's all. Just don't be a jerk in the process.
Right? What is that? There's a great quote about, "Your right to swing your fist ends at my nose."
Yeah, pretty much.
So I like that. Well, Holly, I really, really appreciate your coming and doing this with me. Is there any way that if people wanted to find you, do you have an Etsy store? Do you have a Facebook page they can fan? Or I'm going to put your links down on the bottom. So how do they find you?
I have a website, actually. It's basically just a Tumblr with a custom URL. It's www.capecodcreatures.com, and that should take you to all the appropriate social medias. But if you Google Cape Cod Creatures, they should all come up anyway. I'm pretty good about making myself out there and searchable. So if small business has taught me anything, it's taught me that.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Because people, I love the people who say, "Oh, I don't do marketing." You don't want to make money.
No, apparently not.
Quit talking about marketing like it was you spitting poop at people. You're just telling them what you do.
Yeah, it's
not being slimy about it.
I like to say it's a necessary evil. Like you gotta strike that balance. You don't want to be that guy, but you do have to like put yourself out there. Otherwise, how are people gonna know what you do?
Right? Because sometimes I am that guy. Sometimes I am that. Buy my deck. But it's or subscribe to my channel. People, it's how I make a little money.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a little money.
Oh yeah, anybody that owns a business does not make any real money at all ever. But
right, what they forget is, oh, you're making. I mean, when I was grooming, I made. On just a bath, like on a Great Dane bath, I might charge $25-$30.
That's it.
This was back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
And that included ears, eyes, nails, anal gland expression. I did a lot. And they were like, wow, you make a lot of money. And I was like, I have to pay the water bill, the electricity bill, my helper,
Mm-hmm.
my rent,
Oh yeah.
insurance. I'm not making a lot of money, people. That's why I'm doing 6 to 10 animals a day. So,
Oh yeah. It's
it
insane.
became production.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to have a conversation with my husband because he was just like, I don't get it. You did, I think my shop did like $150,000 in gross sales last year, and I had to be like, yeah, but honey, you have to have that automatically for product. Like that's the cost of just the product going out the door, and then another half of that, half for rent, and then a nice big chunk of that for insurance, and then a nice big chunk of that for utilities, and then a nice big chunk of that for employees, and like that's why I have no money. And he was just, and that's why
Right.
you need to buy me these tarot decks.
And then there's this little tiny thing called self-employment tax.
Oh, yes, it's the worst.
Right?
Oh
Wow.
my God.
But thank you so, so much for coming on my channel. Now, when I say goodbye, I always say, seek joy, y'all. What is
Mhm.
it that you say when you say goodbye?
I just say bye. Like I'll just say bye. I'm not really good at goodbyes. But I do open with hey Tarosphere
Oh, I
because
like that.
right, it's like its own atmosphere. Like come join it if you want. Breathe it,
Yeah.
live it, be it. Kind of like, but I'm really horrible at saying bye. So
Well, I'm going to say goodbye and seek joy, Terrasphere.
bye, Arwen. Thank you.
Oh, I cut it off.